Hey, I'm Ava Laura.
And I'm Jessica.
And this is Black Women Leave America podcast, where we highlight holistic wellness, travel, mental health, and self-care through traveling outside of America to reconnect and rediscover who you are. It's time for us to leave any condition that disrupts our peace. Black Women Leave America opens your eyes and explores new ways of living, but more importantly, new ways of being. Because sometimes you have to leave in order to find yourself. Hello. Welcome everyone to another edition of Black Women Leave America podcast, the live edition.
Yay.
So I'm excited about this because we were already talking about it. I couldn't even get Jessica to shut up about it. I was like, okay, wait for the podcast. So y'all, this is going to be a discussion. We want to hear from you. I am your host, Ava Laura, and this is your other amazing host with all the opinions today.
Look, what's my name? Jessica. Oh, good Lord.
She got so heated about this, she forgot her name.
I did. So on this reaction, we actually watched a little bit of it, and then I started to react before I even pressed record. So I'm excited to talk about this.
It's the pre-reaction to the reaction.
Right.
So I can't wait to hear from you all in the comments. We want to hear from you. Y'all are opinionated just like we are. So we want to hear your opinions.
Super.
So without further ado, we just gonna roll into it.
All right, here we go.
Okay, if you land super late in Mexico City, I recommend these sleeping pods at the airport. It was $70. I felt like it made things super easy. The check-in was easy, which was great because I was super tired. You get a safe locker that's big enough for luggage, like normal luggage, not just carry-on. In that same room, you get the bathroom, the clean showers. So you walk across the hall to the pods, use your key to get in. Mine was on top, and I felt like it was easy to get into, so that was cool. You go inside, it's kind of a vibe, and it can be pitch black when you're ready to sleep. But you got your TV, plugs, AC, all that. And I'm 5'10", so I was happy with how spacious it was. It was actually, it was good. But yeah, like I said, I was tired, so I went to sleep pretty easily. And you get these socks. But yeah, next day I was rested and ready to explore Mexico City.
Wow. What will they think of next?
What will they think of next?
Okay, so
I'm not getting in it.
Jessica has her opinions. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you mine, right? I've seen something like this. So we were talking about this. I've seen this like in New York, right? I think there was an article that just came out with a guy saying that he's paying, and I could be totally making up this number, right? We got to find the article. It was like $1,800 a month or something like that for a pod, and it was in New York City. And if y'all know the cost of living in New York City is expensive as heck, because some of you might be like, I'm not going to pay that much to sleep in a pod. But for him, he was able to work like in Manhattan, be in the midst of everything. And I think their pods, I think they included like some food or like coffee, tea, water, stuff like that. And so I think this is really becoming a thing. One of the things we talk a lot about is people are leaving America, one, because of the high cost of living. And people are really looking to lower their cost of living while being able to have a luxury lifestyle, right? Like, you don't want to pay all of this money for things. You want to get what you want. You want to have luxury. You want to have nice things, but you don't want to feel like you have to pay an arm and a leg for it. And right now it's feeling like that in the US, especially like where I am in the DC area, everything is expensive. Where Jessica is in California, it's expensive. You can't get around it. I'm not going to live in the South. I'm sorry for y'all who live in the South, where it's a little cheaper. That's just not my vibe. I can't do it. But so the cost of living is really expensive. When I was like 21, 22 years old, out of college, when I graduated from Howard, got my first job, I was working at the Census Bureau. And I bought my first house. And literally, I bought through a program called NACA. I don't even know. I think they are still around.
Yeah.
It was the first time home buyers. I got a house for $98,000, a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath. It was considered a condo, but it was upper and lower level. So they actually looked like townhomes. They weren't like regular condos. They were like their own separate homes, but it was considered a condo. And like no money down, like all the things, right? And I think my rent was like $900. My mortgage was like $900. And and I was thinking about that. Like, now granted, this was me fresh out of college. I was able to do this. Where can you do that now?
Right.
Like where are those opportunities? If they exist, they like in Mississippi or somewhere like where a lot of people just don't want to be. You have places like we were talking about it. You do have places that in other countries, but I've also seen it even here in Maryland, a place called Cumberland, where the government is paying you a certain amount of money to live in those places because they're ghost towns, because of the infrastructure, they're trying to build it back up, etc. So in those type of environments, you might be able to get, pretty inexpensive housing because nobody's there and most people don't want to be there. But where can you get like, affordable cost of living in a place where you actually want to be? That's the issue right now. I feel sorry for these kids coming out of college with all of this debt. Everything is more expensive. I mean, paying $50, $60, $70, $80,000 a year for college now. Coming out, getting a job, where they may get, and I mean may, get, $40,000, $50,000 or something like that a year, maybe. Because when I came out, I was making like 30 a year. And then have to pay, for expensive, for rent, which is, so many people for rent, for a 1-bedroom, you're paying bucks easy for a 1-bedroom, let alone if you want more space. And so I can understand things like the pie. I mean, $70 a day. Like, think about this. Like, I don't want to say homeless because it's not even just homeless, it's the underemployed, right? If minimum wage now in a lot of places is raised, is $16, $17 an hour, right? And you can't afford for these places and you don't qualify for programs that are out there, right? Because even though you might not have a lot of money, you might not apply for, you might not be able to get government assistance. $70 a day to live.
Yeah, I was trying to see if she had said like if it was $70 like for a certain amount of hours or anything like that, but she didn't necessarily
say. She said a day. She said $70
a day. Okay.
Yeah, now this is in the airport, right? But think about it. If you're staying there, you don't want to pay a lot. You're not going to be in the room. It's like a hostel in a sense. You're really just playing there to come, wash up, and sleep. If we had stuff like this, the homeless population, which is ridiculous, like here where I am in Maryland, again, is really expensive. We've met a lot of homeless and talked to them. These are not people who are not able to work or get a job and stuff like that. They simply are underemployed and they can't afford the cost of living. If we had things like this, at least they could afford to have a place to stay.
True. I think a piece of it too, though, like I said, is it's scary. I feel like I'm gonna get locked in there. I don't want it.
If you were claustrophobic, you probably don't want to do this.
I don't think that I am, though. I don't think that I'm claustrophobic. I just feel like that. So there's a movie called Passengers, and in this movie, they put themselves to sleep for a certain amount of years, like 80 years, 100 years. Yeah. And I was like, that's stupid. Why would you put yourself on a ship? Put yourself to sleep. And of course, something went wrong. So when it went wrong, it woke up the mechanic on the ship, and he woke up 80 years before the time he was supposed to wake up. Okay. So I'm getting somewhere. Just follow me. So he wakes up, nobody's on the ship. He's alone with himself for a year, and then decides he's going to wake somebody else up. Right. So the whole time I'm watching this, I'm like, why would you put yourself, and they're in pods. They're all in their
Mhm.
own individual sleeping pods. You don't know somebody gonna wake up, come to your pod, and do something to you while you sleep. You don't know what's gonna happen in your pod, right?
But this is different because I think they're locked.
Yeah, but you don't know somebody gonna come unlock your pod. People
How can
got
they
stuff.
unlock your pod?
Oh, girl. They can come find look, people can find ways to do things. They really
I
want to get
mean,
in your pod.
I don't think it makes sense to unlock people pods. If anything, I think it makes more sense to unlock the luggage where now you got to trust that all of that is secure because you're not going to want to deal with the people. But heck yeah, if I can go and figure out how to get into people's luggage, well, yeah.
My luggage would probably come in my pod with me, but that's just me. I'm not putting if I'm asleep here, the luggage is going to be right here with me. And then what if you get locked in a pod and can't get out the pod? Then you got to wait for somebody to come get you out the pod. The brat just got stuck in an elevator not too long ago. She was in that joint for like an hour or 2 hours or something. And she called the fire department because the maintenance people wouldn't call the fire department. So imagine if she was in that elevator and didn't have a phone. Like imagine if you put your phone in your backpack and locked it outside.
Oh, no, my phone is coming with me. First of all, my phone needs to charge. I would hope they have chargers in there.
Well, it had a sink. I think it had a charger. Did it have a toilet?
No. That's all outside.
Oh,
the sink
so it was only
in the bathroom. Now, my problem, because in your 40s, you go to the bathroom a little bit more.
Right.
I do not want to be getting out my pod in the middle of the night to go to use the bathroom.
Let me go pee.
That I don't want to do.
They need to have little pods or a little bag of pods.
This is for like when you in your 20s and you in your 20s.
Yeah, you young. You get
this is the stuff you do.
There's so many things that can go wrong with that I don't think I would risk putting myself in jeopardy, putting my body in jeopardy of being in a pod. I mean, I don't know. Maybe the pod, to be honest, I may be wrong. Now I'm thinking about the other side.
People are living in storage units.
I was just about to say.
So you saw that couple on TikTok that were living in the storage unit. Yeah. And remember the first time I saw, because I didn't know people did this, but they do.
They do.
Remember in ATL, what's his name? Donald Glover. I forgot the name of his character. He was living in the day. He was living in the storage unit.
Yeah.
And they don't have bathrooms. And anything could happen to you and them.
Right. Right. Well, I was just thinking people, I've fallen asleep at the airport before, right? And that wasn't a pod, right? I'm just in the chair, waiting for the plane, you know what I'm saying? And how open that is, right? So, I mean, hey, I don't know. To each his own, I guess. I would love to hear from you all in the comments. Would you sleep in a pod? Put yes or heck no down in the comment section. If you would sleep in a sleeping pod in Mexico City, and
not just in Mexico City, but anywhere. Like, would you sleep in a pod?
Well, I want to hear specifically in Mexico City. Like, if you knew you were in Mexico City.
What you trying to say?
I'm not trying to say nothing. I ain't trying to say nothing. I'm just saying, if you knew you was in Mexico City by yourself and you had to sleep in a pod and lock the pod behind you, I don't know. She seemed like she was pretty cool with it. She was like, "Yeah, I went to sleep."
She said she's 5'10".
Yeah, I had paid my $70. I went to bed. It was like night. So I don't know. I guess I don't know. Just
now, I guess you could keep your luggage there, right? So like if you're leaving and coming back, you could just keep your luggage there. Mm-hmm. I'm like, how much are the hotels though?
True.
Because $70 a night.
Kind of expensive for Mexico.
It's a little expensive, like if I'm traveling, right? Like if I'm home and again, like I said, I'm underemployed, that might be the thing to do.
Right.
Because I don't know how much that might not be the thing to do, because 70 you might just be paying just to have a place to sleep. So that does not include food. Okay, so you might be able to cover that, but then you wouldn't be saving no money. You would literally have that and enough for food and maybe to get to your job, and that's it. You don't spend all your money for the day. And I'm looking at, and I'm talking about like on minimum wage. But I'm like, how much are the hotels? $100 a night? That's a $30 difference. So it looks like she's doing it, talking about it for like a convenience sake, not necessarily a money thing. Because if I can get a hotel room for $100, I mean, obviously I'm gonna take the hotel.
Okay, so supposedly these have so comfortable private sleeping capsule, 29-inch TV, USB ports for charging devices, ventilation control, clock. That's another thing. It feels too much. It looks too much like a coffin. I'm scared that I might run out of air in that thing. Like I got
A
too many
lot of
concerns.
fear.
It's a lot of fear.
Now, listen, if something happened to the air, we in trouble.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the death trap. You can't stay in that. Like, so that, yeah.
And it's section anyway. That was my problem with passengers. Like you into outer space. What if somebody just take your whole thing and just throw you in outer space? Now you floating around. You can't.
That's why they only had a certain amount of people at every time. Listen, there has to be some trust in here somewhere.
Look, listen. I'm not trusting nobody with my life for 100 years. Okay. Forget you.
I don't want to live that long. That's a whole nother thing. I have no desire to live that long. Like, let me just live my life and be done.
Yeah, so my daughter, we'll get back. I swear, you guys, we're coming back. My daughter was like, oh, so wait, Mom. So if they were going out for 100 years, then everybody they knew is dead.
Yeah.
Everyone.
But not if everybody's doing it.
No, everybody knew back on Earth. No, it wasn't though. Specifically, they picked certain peoples and you paid. And here's the thing, he only paid for whatever the lower tier was. So he could only get lower tier food. So then when he woke up the lady, he got higher tier food. I was like, this is nuts. I was like, this is a crazy. Anyway, back to our pod situation.
No, I'm good.
When you
that's why you just live your best life.
You live your best life. I don't know about sleeping in a pod. I don't know. Like I said, the air,
Okay. Have you ever done, what is it called? Float therapy, like the water therapy?
Heck no.
That's what it reminded me of. And it's dark and you're in the water and it's calming and relaxing.
Did you like it?
I loved it.
You loved it. Okay. I had a friend. So I was going through looking for steam rooms because I really want to do more steaming. I just went ahead and bought a steamer off TikTok Shop. Forget it. I'm not going to buy a steam room because now I have horror stories about steam rooms. So, I was looking and I found that. I found the what are they called?
Float. It's like float therapy.
Float therapy. And I'm like, who in their right mind would do something like this?
Oh, I loved it. I loved it. I got a little Groupon. This was years ago. And I had a matter of fact, I think this was like right before the pandemic. Because I remember I bought a Groupon and I had like 3 sessions and I didn't even use my last session because then everything shut. And I was just like, oh, forget it.
Yeah, whatever.
I didn't care. I loved it though.
Yeah.
I mean, now I'm a water baby. Water is calming and you're in there and it can't, same thing, it can be dark, but they have lights. So they had like red, blue, green, every light is a different vibe and you just float and they have music. So you can play calming music or whatever. And it's nice. I enjoyed it.
One of my other colleagues that I do some work with, she says she does it monthly. She's like, it literally keeps me that sane that I go in and I have a monthly membership and I do it monthly. And she was like, it's amazing. You got to try it. So I'm going to try it.
Think about people who are swimmers. Like that's their, and that's exercise, right? So it's just taking that same concept and you're just relaxing.
Yeah. We'll see how I feel. But that one I'm willing to try because at least it's an open room. It's not like a enclosed.
No, it's enclosed.
Capsule. Well, the one I saw wasn't.
Okay. They're enclosed. I think now you're in water. So that's a different element. Well, it's a room, so nobody can come in your room, but the actual place where you're floating is an enclosed capsule. And so then they have like a bathroom, they have a shower, so when you get out you can take a shower, do all of that.
Oh yeah, no, the one I saw, so I did see those, but the one I saw is more of a like a pool almost, and in a room.
Okay.
It's more open.
No, it was like an oval. Yeah, it was like an oval. It's like a dome, like an oval thing, and you
get in and you. Girl, no, no, to the no.
Listen, To each his own.
Right. But here, look at
you
us
gotta
giving
know
you
what works for you.
look at us giving you stress help tools and recommendations. Look
That's
at
what
that.
this is about.
That's why you listen to the podcast. By the way, we will be updating the actual audio podcast here very, very soon. I'm training my VA to do so. So yay. But if you're listening to this, please make sure you subscribe, do all the things for the podcast, and hop on over to YouTube and subscribe to YouTube as well, because we are here. You can see our actual faces and all my facial expressions.
And the videos and everything that we show. So,
and reaction videos. Yeah, if you want to know, kind of see what we're talking about, then you definitely want to hop on over. All right, cool beans. Ava Laura, I'll let you take us out.
Listen, we want to hear from you. Thank you for supporting us. We appreciate you. Like Jessica said, all the things, right? Support us, love us, comment below, share us out. We are almost, and I mean almost, we're like on the tip of being monetized on YouTube. So help us out, spread the word. You want to donate, we take your coffee. I love coffee. We appreciate you so much. Thank you. And until next time. Peace.